Welcome back, folks. With me, Phil Turrell. You're watching part 23 of the Final Fantasy VIII Let's Play. So, we just got back in Galbadia Garden, and all the chaos going on outside. The party's like, "Oh, you made it inside," and Irving's out scouting ahead, and he's gonna say the most obvious thing: the sorcerer should be in here somewhere. You know, no shite, Irving. But Squall's gonna make his little speech now, saying there's no turning back. And forget about the past. She's our enemy now. We shouldn't think twice for a second because there's no way they can afford to fight like that. At least Squall thinks that. And she chose to fight and be their enemy, and so they have to respond in kind. And Squall makes a comment to himself. He's the only one that probably sounds confused. Everyone knows is going to try to back him up, saying, if you want to talk more, we're here. And Squall's like, I'll tell you all later, after we get out of here. So Squall's going to resolve to, say, hey, we're going to make out of here, and then I'll talk more about this stuff later. So we're going to go ahead and rearrange our party. I actually put Irving here, but actually I'm not going to use Irving. I'm going to use Selphie and Zell for the majority of this dungeon, or I guess garden. We'll get into a fight here with a Deathclaw, but I'm going to go ahead and let Odin take care of it. So go ahead, Odin. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Guardian forces we gained in the last few parts, because I actually didn't talk about them. Pandemona, it's a wind elemental Guardian force we got from Fujin and about 2 parts ago, I think, or 3 parts ago. It's a wind elemental Guardian force, and its attack tornado zone is, well, it's interesting because it will suck enemies up into its bodies and proceed to sneeze them out in a tornado. It's pretty interesting, but it's also very odd. Now, its abilities are pretty good. I would first go after the abilities Strength Junction, Strength and Speed up, plus percent abilities, not up, percent plus percent abilities, and then Initiative. Now, Initiative is probably the one I normally go after first because it will automatically give that character that has that ability equipped the first turn in the battle, no matter what. So it's pretty good for farming cactars with Selphie and Squall in the desert. Now, I also neglected to mention some of the other abilities of the Tomberry that we got in the central runes. Now, it just learned Familiar in that battle, which is going to be useful for some of the shops in the very big city later, because all shops now will carry some extra items. And in that big city, there's a bookstore that we can buy all the Pet Pal volumes and all the Combat King volumes, so that's very nice. Haggle is also an ability that we can get from the Tomberry, which will lower prices in the shops, so things are more affordable. And then we can also learn Sell High, which will give us more gil when we sell items to a shop. And it also can learn the Call Shop and the Junk Shop ability, which allows you to call a shop that you visited on the world map or even in a dungeon. In a junk shop if you have that ability learned. So it's pretty useful for shopping and leveling up and leveling down enemies. Now, since we're in Galbadia Garden, there's enemies about. We're gonna find some new, not really new. We're gonna be fighting. Well, I mean, there's one new enemy in this section. But all of Galbadia Garden is locked down, and there's monsters all about. Like this one is a creep, I believe. And creeps, no, these are jellyfish, or jelly eye, sorry. They're not super duper, powerful or neat. They have a morph ability which changes their way of attack, which makes them more physical attack reliant or magical attack reliant or a combo mode. It's not really a threat, and its draw pull includes the fire, thunder, and blizzard family of magics. Its mug pull has the healing water, which you can refine those items for 20 Kiro spells, and it drops include many magic stones, and wizard stones depending on their level bracket, from low to high respectively. Now we're going to want to go up to the 2nd floor, and when we climb up these stairs I'm going up to, we're going to see Fujin and Raijin. Now we're not going to have to fight them, but they will make a request of us, which they don't know what's going on anymore, and they're going to leave Seifer up to us, and they're going to mention they really only want the old Seifer back, while Squall himself is going to think to himself that Seifer's thinking he probably can't go back now. So Squall's going to be like, alright, we'll try. That's really all we can do. Now, the school is locked down, and there's going to be a set of 3 students that are left in this garden that have keys that open up the other section of the garden. So we need to find those 3 students, and the first one is going to be on this 2nd floor in a dorm, I believe. He will give us the level 1 key, which I believe it's this room right here. Okay, no, it's the other one, the far in the right. So you talk to this student, he'll give you the level 1 key, which will open a door on the 2nd floor, or the 1st floor, sorry. So we need to go there, and that's really it. That's the big, dungeony thing about Galbadia Garden, is that all the doors are basically locked down, or at least the important doors, and we need to find keys to open them up, and then find our way to Edea. Now, creeps, we already talked about them in Edea City. I just wanted to go and show them here, but they have thunder and death magic right now because they're at the higher level spectrum, and they still have coral fragments to mug. If you did not card mod your Falls Occult card from FH, they have Thundaga magic that you can obviously steal, but I don't really need that because I have all those Dynamo Stones from that card. So all my characters now have Thundaga magic to the max. So they do have coral fragments, and if you do kill them without mugging them, there is a chance to get Dynamo Stones and sometimes Curse Spikes. And Curse Spikes are super useful because they give Quistis her ultimate blue magic ability. But now, since we got that key, let's go ahead and go to the 1st floor. I believe the door we're looking for is going to be, we're going to go down, and we're going to go down to the other side of the 1st floor, and we'll actually open up the hockey rink, which we didn't really get to see very much because it was blocked off, and the team itself at the time was practicing. So it's actually the right door, which is right here. And now we can see that team of monsters that play hockey that student mentioned. Now, unfortunately, Odin is going to take care of them for me, so I won't get to see them in action just yet. Keep rocking in Galbadia. I really like those banners. Nice touch right there. I don't know if that was in the original or if that's part of the visual mod that I have installed, but Odin's going to take care of this team because Odin is the whole other opposing team. He's anti-Galbadia. So, no, that poor team just get destroyed. Quite literally. Odin's like, there is no hockey. My stick is a lot sharper than your hockey stick. Anyways, I digress. Now, they are interesting enemies. They actually announce their formations, which they will use to attack with Blizzara, physical attacks, or a type of critical attack that will deal some pretty good damage because it'll ignore your defense stat and it won't miss. So that's a thing. Now you can go back into the left room up ahead to draw some life magic if you want. You don't need to. The life draw point is kind of at this point of the game I'm at. It's kind of useless because all my party members, I think, at this point now have life magic, and life magic is a pretty awesome spell to have 100 of because it junctions very nicely. But anyways, we'll get into another engagement with the hockey team. So it's just so interesting. They're moving on the ice, and my party members minus Zell are just standing still. So they're going to announce their formation G, I think, which formation G is their physical attack formation, which they just whack you with hockey sticks. But Zell and Squall have more than enough attack strength to just start one-shotting these hockey monsters. And I gotta admit, this is probably one of my favorite unique monsters in all of Final Fantasy. I don't think there's another enemy like these slappers. That's what their names are. It's just kind of neat to see hockey monsters in a Final Fantasy game. Where I'm from, we don't really have very much hockey going on, but it's interesting to me. So with that, we take them out, and yeah, so that's it. We just take out those hockey members. I guess we took out the other half of the team, and Odin just killed the other half. I digress. But let's go ahead and just move around some of my stuff. I'll go ahead and leave that there. But yeah, I think honestly that's one of my favorite unique enemy types in all of Final Fantasy. I highly doubt anything like that exists in Final Fantasy 16, because at the time of me recording this and commentating over this, I'm just now playing Final Fantasy 16 for the first time on PC, and I gotta say it's a pretty awesome game. I didn't think Devil May Cry type combat with Final Fantasy would tickle my interest in Final Fantasy again, but you know, I'm wrong. I think Final Fantasy 16 is probably up there with one of my favorite Final Fantasies. But I don't know yet because I haven't gotten all the way through yet. Anyways, we're talking about Final Fantasy VIII, not Final Fantasy 16. Anyways, I digress. I'm over trying to think about Final Fantasy 16 while I'm commentating over this. But we got the level 2 key from that student, so now we can go ahead and go up. And I know I didn't commentate over it, but the level 2 key was right across the hallway from where we exited the hockey rink. So I'm going to go ahead and fight some more creeps since this is a different formation. But Odin will help us out with them, so it's kind of nice to have Odin to take care of these unwanted encounters. Zen Tutsuken! I can never say Zen Tutsuken. Anyways, I can never pronounce that sword attack to save my life when I'm trying to do it on command. I just have to say it super fast. But yeah, we take out those creeps. And hopefully we get some not dynamo stings, but curse spikes from them. But super convenient when Odin takes out these unwanted encounters. Oh, we got one curse spike, so that's nice at least. So we're gonna go all the way to the 3rd floor with this level 2 card key. We're gonna unlock this door, and then we're gonna proceed to get to the main section of Galbadia Garden that we are familiar with. It's kind of crazy that they're just gonna jump from this high height and then not break their ankles probably on this track right below. Now once you jump down here, you can open the door to the right if you want to go back to where you were, to where you entered Galbadia Garden to use that save point. We don't really need to because we're really close to the save point once we go back into the main center section, where an optional boss fight to get a Guardian Force will be at now. We're going to get into a fight right here with a Deathclaw, I believe. Is it right here? I think it's... No, not yet. No, we're not going to get that fight with that Deathclaw until a little bit after the boss fight. Now, the boss fight right here, I would highly recommend, I'm not even going to take my own advice here, so do as I say, not as I do. We're going to want to equip some Tornado, Quake, and Thunder magic to our elemental defenses, and have some Dispel magic in our inventory as well. And if you're interested in having triple in your magic inventory in your characters, then make sure you have a high magic stat to draw it. I moved some of my characters' triple spells to my other characters to draw it. So, yeah. So this Cerberus right here is actually a Guardian Force we're going to have to fight and beat. Now, Squall says something pretty funny here. He's like, let's just take it. Like, they're just going to street jack this Cerberus and be like, you're going to be my Guardian Force. It's pretty humorous. I still get a chuckle out of it. Now, anyways, first thing to do is to not have any Thunder magic equipped to your elemental attack stat, because it will heal the Cerberus. You don't want to do that. And if you don't have Quake spells to minimize or absorb the earth damage, you can also use Float to negate the damage since you'll be above the ground. Lastly, it doesn't hurt to have Berserk junction to your status defense stat. This would help prevent, a party member from being uncontrollable. Now, what I did there, I was just drawing triple the entire time, and I used the skin ability just to give you an idea what to expect. It will use triple on itself, and it will use its magic really its magic really well. Quake, Thundaga, or Tornado. Conversely, you can also draw triple and cast it on your healer or magic user, which is what I did with Squall and Selfie. So don't let it use triple on itself. If it does, I would use Dispel to neutralize that for it. Otherwise, it will triple cast those spells and it will hurt or wipe out your party depending on your junctions and spirit stat. And then I would steal the item that it has in its inventory because it's much better than what you get from its drop. So the item that you can mug is a Speed Junction Scroll, and I honestly think that is well worth having another Guardian Force, because I think the only Guardian Force at this point you can have that on naturally is Pandemona. And also, I think Cerberus also can learn. Yeah, Cerberus can learn Speed Junction as well. So you'll have 3 Speed Junctions on 3 different Guardian Forces, and all 3 characters have their speed increase. So that's very nice. And the spells in its inventory you can draw are Quake, Triple, and Double. And Double is not as great now that Triple is a thing, but if you want it, it's there. In reality, I should have really card modded my Minotaur card to avoid having to draw Quake. But, you know, that's just me being kind of forgetful. Now, I would just start triple casting whatever magic you want as the situation calls for. If you want to do damage, or if you want to cure yourself from the damage, you can do that as well. So it was like, show me what you got, which I'm going to proceed to do that. Jesus, Zell just took 2 turns. He's like, Zell just like, bad puppy, bad, and just punches it in the mouth. But with that, we defeat Cerberus, and then we will get its card, and we will also get 20 AP. Cerberus's card, I forget what it has. Let me look at my super old instruction manual where I get some of this information from. Well, I mean, not instruction manual, but strategy guide from way back in the day when paper strategy guides were a thing. You get 100 lightweights, which 100 lightweights, I believe, if I'm wrong, Future Phil can correct me, they refine into floats. Now, Cerberus is a pretty darn good Guardian Force in my opinion, as far as junctioning and learning stuff. It has a lot of stat junction abilities. It has Strength, Magic, Spirit, Speed, and Hit junction, to be specific, that you can learn. And it can also learn the valuable SAS Defense junction ×4. So that's really good. So you can have 2 Guardian Forces at this moment, in this playthrough I'm having right now, that have SAS Defense junction ×4. Now, its summon is not a it's the first, I'm trying to think, other than Carbuncle, it's the second at this moment, I believe, that does not do any damage. It's a support in the Guardian Force. It will use counter rockets, which will cast double and triple on your party, which is kind of useful if you don't want to use your own, you know, magic to cast double and triple. And it does it all at once, so that's nice. If you talk to this student here, she'll give you the level 3 card key, which we will use to get to where Edea is and end this War of the Gardens. Now, along the way, we're going to fight a Deathclaw, which Deathclaw is pretty unremarkable. It does have its attack namesake, which is kind of a staple in Final Fantasy. The Deathclaw attack, which can hurt some, or it could KO you in one hit, as its namesake suggests. It's kind of a wind elemental monster, and by that I mean it has wind magic items you can steal and mug from it, like sheer feathers, which will refine into arrows. A-E-R-O. A-E-R-O, yes. Or if you're lucky and you beat it, it could drop windmills as well. It does have a gas and an explosion attack. But other than that, it's not really interesting to me. And this one is, the only thing that is interesting about it actually is this looks like a bear, where actually the other Deathclaws, they kind of look like an insectoid kind of monster. Oh, there's the explosion attack I was talking about. But yeah, it will explode and it will do some pretty minor damage to the entire party. It does have dispels, which I'm going to go ahead and grab some, because they are a useful magic to have against some bosses, but not a very interesting enemy at all. I don't even think their magic pull has even been interesting. I don't even have that in my notes. But that's the end of that Deathclaw. Let's go ahead and go back to saving our game, and then we'll go ahead and beeline it right to where Edea is. Now, there is a save point right before we fight Edea, so you don't have to use that save point. I just had forgotten about the save point right before that fight. I guess I should really say the fight with Seifer, not the fight with Edea, because we're not going to fight Edea right away. So go left to that meeting room that we were first at in Galbadia Garden. We unlock the elevator, and we go up to face off against Seifer and Edea. Now, save point's to the right, and we are going to go ahead and heal and save our game, so let's go ahead and do that. We'll leave my save in there. Why not? I've been doing a pretty crummy job of taking out my saves in in this current part. But anyways, go ahead and give you an idea what I have equipped. Now Seifer in the second fight, he's not super difficult. As a matter of fact, I'm going to beat him before he even gets to use one of his more powerful attacks. I would suggest mugging Seifer if you care about that, because his normal drop is not that great. Now, Seifer is going to mention our past with Matron, and since we already know it, that psychological warfare tactic is not going to work with us. And now he has different dialogue with every one of the characters. He calls Zell Chicken Wuss. He calls Selfie, I forgot what he calls Selfie, Rookie or Messenger. He tries to get Renoa to turn on the party because they're past. He tells Irving he's on the wrong side because he's actually from Galbadia Garden. And Queesis brings up their relationship as teacher and student. And of course, Seifer is going to say he's the Sorcerer's Knight. He's going to protect them from the swarming monsters that we represent. Now, all that said and done, Seifer is most definitely not a threat, at least in my opinion. Especially if you have a lot of attack on your two main physical attackers, which is Zell and Squall in my case. Now, he has haste, and haste is a very good spell to have, especially if you have Speed Junction as an ability on your Guardian Forces, because I think haste is one of the better, if not the best, magic to have equipped on your speed stat. I could be wrong, but I think it is, because that's the whole point of haste as a spell. Now, haste will cut in half the time needed for your ATB bar to fill up all the way, so you can take your turns a lot faster. So, super useful spell to have. Now, Seifer will use fire magic. He will physically attack you. Now, when you deal about half his HP, he will have access to an attack called Demon Slice. Now, at that point, Demon Slice will hurt quite a bit. It will do about 1,500, I believe, or about 2,000. 2,000 or 1,500. I want to say it's 1,500. But if you just keep swarming him with physical attacks from Squall and Zell in my case, he's not going to get a chance to do anything. And your magic user, if you use your own magic, he's going to take a lot of damage from your magic as well. So, he's not going to get to do that. He's like, is that it? Show me what you got. I can't be beaten. Oh, we're going to change that tone real quick. Okay, Zell, so he called you Chicken Wuss. Show him who the real Chicken Wuss is. 1, 2, and he goes down. This can't be. Why? So with that, we beat Seifer. Like I said, not a super hard boss fight. We beat him and we get 20 AP, so really, really useful as far as giving us AP. Now, Edea is going to say useless fool, or useless child, I forget what she said. She's going to go downstairs to the auditorium. That's where the site of our final battle for Disc 2 will be. I'm going to go ahead and change up my party. I feel like having Renoa in the party, it goes with the event that happens after the boss fight. It's also a little bit more thematic, in my opinion. In my humble opinion, anyways. And it just so happened I just like to have Zell and Renoa in my party, because, you know, that's my go-to party when I'm playing Final Fantasy VIII. Now, I would highly recommend you don't equip Mug. And the only reason I'm saying that is because Edea's item that she drops, is used in Renoa's ultimate weapon recipe. I think it's the Shooting Star. She drops the Force Armlet or Amulet. I forget which one it is. And that's a pretty rare item. And this is the only enemy in the game that will drop it 100% of the time. So if you want to get Renoa's ultimate weapon, don't have Mug equipped. But if you do have Mug equipped to steal from Seifer, because Seifer does have a pretty good item to steal, I would just have Diablos equipped to your magic user and just have her or him attack Seifer to steal the item in his inventory, which honestly you'll have access to getting quite a lot of those items, those broken items that Seifer will have in the next fight, because spoiler alert, we will fight him again real soon. So I'm just showing you what I have equipped, and in reality I should not have that stuff equipped to Zell, but we're gonna go ahead. It sounded like I froze there for a second, but the music just jump cut to the quiet part of it, because I did a little bit of a jump cut there. But yeah, I don't like to have Mug in the next battle. And if you have any of your bonus abilities like I have there on Zell, I would just recommend just unequipping them once you get right before you enter the auditorium for Edea, because there's really no point. You don't get experience, and you know, having the extra stat bonus abilities is very handy. Or having treatment or recover, especially treatment. Treatment's a really good ability. We'll talk about that when we get closer to the boss fight. I'm actually going to run to a tri-phase here, which that's the, I think this is the only place you can encounter a tri-phase in Galbadia Garden. So you can farm curse spikes. I forgot the name of it. You can farm some curse spikes here if you really want to. And but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go ahead and fight it. Just remember, it can cause confusion with its toxic gas. I think, is it toxic gas or just gas? I think it's toxic gas. So that's not a super... well, no, it is a super dangerous attack because it can confuse your whole party if you're not careful. But I'm not even going to give it a chance to do that. I'm going to have Squall take it out with a slice. Well, technically a few attacks, but it's done. It's dead. And then we're going to go ahead and get... I think we actually do get some curse spikes from this fight. Let's see. We're going to get... How many? I think I just skipped past that. I think we got quite a few. But we're going to go into the auditorium. And then we're going to want to... Do I unequip those abilities? Maybe? No, I don't think I do. That would have been nice if I did, but I don't think I did. Oh, wait. Yes, I did. Okay. So I'm not just a... I'm not just a stupid Let's Player. Alright. We're going to give Zell even more HP with HP plus 80%. So, before you fight this boss... I know I probably should have said this before, but before you fight this boss... you're going to want to make sure that you have a means of curing curse and possibly slow. And one of those ways is going to be treatment. But Edea is going to drop from the ceiling and land gracefully, and somehow Seifer is going to end up right behind her. I mean, he was hurt, and I mean, we took the only way by non-magic means to end up here. She's saying that, you know, we're the legendary seed, and it's their destiny to fight, and Squall's a little bit confused by it, and Seifer shows up to help her, and says that he's a useless fool, and Squall's like, you're not our matron, because she wouldn't even say it to Seifer, even if Seifer is the type of person he is at the moment. So, now, our first fight, the first phase of this fight is going to be against Seifer. Now, Seifer has lower HP and has more defense, but it doesn't really matter. We're going to beat him really, really badly. I would suggest drawing and casting haste on your party from Seifer, and then starting to lay in on him with the attacks. Because haste is, we're going to go straight into the boss fight with Edea after we beat Seifer. So I would go ahead and do that to give us a speed edge with the fight against Edea. Now, after we beat him or hit him up a bit, and he falls to the ground saying, "Oh, I'm being disgraced," we will just go straight into the boss fight with Edea. Now, I keep on saying that. He does have a hero for us to steal, which will allow us to get invincible on that one character we use a hero on. Now, if you're really, really, really lucky, you'll get a Holy War instead. And a Holy War is, I would say, it is the most broken item in the game, in my opinion, in terms of battle. It will make your whole party invincible, but we'll talk about Holy Wars later if I decide to fight Omega Weapon. So, first thing you should do before you start fighting Edea is go into her draw list and draw out Alexander, which is a super useful Guardian Force, and it will help us get another Guardian Force later down the road. Now, she does have Blizzaga, which I am going to spend some time drawing. Now, let's talk about Edea. Now, Edea, I don't even know where to start, but she has slow, Blizzaga, death, silence, and a new attack that she's using right now called Maelstrom, which is kind of like Gravaga, or Gravajo, I forget what the name of Diablos' attack is, but it's a little bit worse, because it will do, I want to say it does over half. I think it does 62.5 damage on the entire party. It inflicts curse, which will prevent you from using limit breaks. However, it will also put you in limit break territory, which is what I'm showing with Zell here, if you can remove curse. Now, She can also cast Reflect on her and dispel positive effects on us. So the whole carbuncle schnick that we did, trick that we did last time, it's not going to work because she has magic that can go through that, which is Maelstrom. Now we can also put her to sleep because she's susceptible to the sleep status. Siren's treatment abilities are going to be very useful because it can remove slow and the curse and silence if she inflicts that status on us. Now, her spell list isn't very impressive as it has Blizzaga, Demi, and Asunia. Asunia can be useful as well as a backup measure to remove curse and silence if you need, assuming that you're not silenced. And Blizzaga, I'm just spending some time drawing it, and that's why I did with that jump cut. But I did so much damage with Zell that a few more attacks are going to take her out. I think when Squall attacks her next with his physical attack, he's going to finish the fight. So, super easy fight if you let her use Maelstrom and then you start limit breaking her. So, not hard at all. And if you don't mug her, you'll get a Force Amulet, which is very nice. So we get Hero from Seifer, it's Armlet, Force Armlet. So that will be useful. We get to name Alexander, and then we'll get to the final cutscene of this too. Now, after beating her, this blinding white light's going to engulf the room, and something will happen to Renoa. She'll actually start walking really slow to Seifer, and she'll hold him, and somehow he will get up and proceed to boss walk his way out of the room, like some boss. Anyways, I digress. So, Mysterious, what is she doing to Seifer? I mean, they were an item way back when. She's like, oh my god, we killed him! And light will blind the screen even more. He'll get up, and then he'll walk out the room. Now, what's funny about this scene, way back when I had an old TV playing this for the first time, my TV sucked. So when the screen went bright white, you couldn't see a damn thing. And all you hear is just Renoa hit the ground, and you're just like, what the heck? So Quisa is going to check on Renoa, and Edea is not going to act like Edea as we know. She's going to sound different. She's going to be all nice and warm to the party, saying that they're all grown up and strong. And she will ask if today is a joyous day or an odious day. And then she'll also ask if she's protected Eleni in a very panicked dialogue. However, this brief calm is interrupted by, Quisa saying, it's Renoa, because she's out like a doorbell, which will cause Squall to panic a bit. But that'll be it for this part, folks. I'll catch you in the next one. If you like this, please like and subscribe to my channel.